first of all, the objectives, I guess, and just kind of in general, or kind of heard, or think apply. One is to create a great amenity for all Augustans. The second is something that I've started to hear more and more from a lot of communities. They want to attract a young and vibrant workforce. There's a lot of competition now, and there's more than one community that are looking at this type of thing and others. Create kind of economic prosperity, and my kind of call is to get people back to enjoying rivers, kind of away from the computer and out enjoying nature. What I'll be talking about a lot has to do with whitewater. That's one part of what the plan involves. It's kind of the backbone, maybe the catalyst is what we see, but it's just one part. This again was the picture on the left there was Columbus when I went down on a weekend. They spent tens of millions of dollars on the Riverwalk, lots of stuff, and that's, you can tell what's missing there. I went down there the year before last, and that's what I saw. Lots and lots of people everywhere. The scope of this study originally started out at the New Savannah McLaughlin Dam, and then included kind of the downtown areas. We kind of quickly saw that we should be looking at a little bit bigger range than that. I'll get into the reason why, but really we're looking at kind of a 36-mile long potential recreational corridor that would start kind of just downstream of the Thurman Lake Dam and then continue down to New Savannah McLaughlin Dam. So why here and why now? I have a whole presentation on just this one slide. I won't bore you with all that. But a lot of communities come and say, we want a Columbus, or we want a Denver, or we want a Boise. And the problem is they don't have one of these three factors. So you need an available flow and a reliability of flow. And there's very few rivers. I've been doing this for 35 years. And this river has, besides being absolutely gorgeous, has incredible flow, reliability flow. We don't have that anywhere close in Colorado, and most states don't have that. Then you need vertical drop. You can't have some white water without the water falling over something. Here, again, the New Savannah McLaughlin Dam has that drop, and you also have natural drop, the shoals. And so can we make a plan that kind of integrates all this together? And then what's really most important, or I don't know most important, but something that's often missed is the adjacent area and access, and I'll get to that here. So why now? In all these big types of projects, they're very expensive, they're very involved. When you're dealing with a river, to get big projects done, it takes a lot of coordination, thinking, planning, from a lot of different aspects. And so that has to start early. Can't tell you how many projects I've been involved in that started too late. But I think one way or another, something is likely to happen at the New Savannah McLaughlin Dam, and I think being prepared for that is a good reason why why now. I just wanted to throw this slide in. I think there's been some kind of miscommunication, or just to clear things up here. But this presentation, again, is about the vision plan. So a lot of the work that we have done recently, I guess, relates to the response to the Corps, but this is about the recreation plan itself. Just to keep things clear, there is no negative impact on the pool level or anything else that I can tell that we're planning or that's proposed as far as the whitewater recreation on the pool level. Those are totally independent. And the whitewater plan that we're showing integrates very well with Alternative 1-1. So again, this is really about the whole plan, but just wanted to clear this one point up. Actually, the original project, probably, well, for sure in the U.S. and again probably the world, this type of project was done in my hometown. This is what it looked like when I was growing up. That's what we call a river. I don't think you would even name such a thing. But this is what it looks like today. When you fly into DIA, Denver International Airport, This picture on the lower right, that's what you see. You don't see all our great kind of natural rapids, you see that. And then when you go down on a weekend or any day in the summer, you see what's down in the left. This is really iconic for the city, and even though it's a trickle of really not very clean water, it's just been a huge success. It's used by all sorts of people, mostly kids in tubes, and again, mostly people watching. But this is what it looks like, quite a bit different than Columbus, but the basics of this are in what we're thinking about here, and they applied to Columbus, 30 years later. Again, very solid economic data here. Main thing is that back in the 70s, properties along the river were 17% lower than the average in the city. In 2017, they're 36% higher, over 50% difference in values of property along the river. And that's primarily due to this and some adjacent projects. Again, they've realized increased tax revenues and all sorts of things. So what's kind of not well understood is who uses these parks. And so these are some pictures from various venues that we've designed. And I think you get a good idea of who's the primary user here. There was a very good study done. About 3/4 of people that use these parks are spectators, people that don't get in the water. They're watching their kids. They're watching people. They're enjoying themselves. And that's who we design things for, really. Children, 40%, more than 40% of those are in the water, and then followed by adults, seniors, and teens. I think what's important here is there's only 2% of the users are these kind of elitist kayaker people. And I would argue that while they're only 2%, they're an important 2% because it's kind of like watching an interactive water feature. And it also gives kids something to aspire to. I think what's of note is that in the last World Cup freestyle competitions in kayaks, every kid has been from a town with a man-made whitewater park. So, but that's not who you design this thing for, or why you would go forward with it. Other people in the river, again, mostly kids, of that really gnarly whitewater that was shown in the Columbus video. The picture on the right there, this, according to the rafting guys, is the most popular part of the whole event. People just like to get in and float down a little channel. This is a venue that we did in Western Maryland. It's used, of course, mostly by these types of people. Usually they're not shaking so much. But this venue has hosted the World Cup freestyle and World Cup slalom events. This slalom event is what they do in the Olympics. So again, I think this community knows something about hosting kind of national world type events. I think one thing that's kind of interesting too is when we designed that venue as this one, we designed it so that the levels could be adjusted. And I thought they would kind of detune it for recreation. Turns out that and they found this in Columbus also, the rafting guides get bigger tips when they dump people out of the rafts. So actually we have to detune it for doing these kind of national events. But recently, probably the largest growing sport, a water sport particularly in the country, is stand-up paddleboarding. And this is quite accessible, much more accessible than kayaking, very popular. This is a venue that we did in Boise. It's really focuses on surfing, river surfing, creating a way where you actually surf. And it's hard to describe this to people, it's best just to show people surfing. Of course, this is an incredibly popular sport. There's 30 people out there Monday at 7 o'clock. It's like this all the time. Again, it really creates a high-level activity. It's easily accessible by people, much more so than, for instance, kayaking. And I mean, when you think about it, there's a whole culture related to surfing. I think the other thing that's very important here is that we found that whitewater recreation and what we call flatwater recreation, and what you use in the pool boating, work very well together. There's a lot of synergies going on there. And that's what we found here in the other sites. There's just, when you get the two kind of water recreation going, they really build on each other. It really creates a lot of energy.